Hi, my name is Dawn Harbour. I am an artist who uses my camera as a tool. This is my piece here that was accepted into this wonderful Refuses of Bay. So thank you to the curator, Ashley, for accepting my piece. A little bit about what it is. It comes from a series. This one in particular is called Flow. And it is part of a series called The Space Between. It was it's still ongoing, a study of identity and how we sort of exist in between the space of reality versus illusion or perceptions. And I felt that this series really lent itself to that concept. So this is a photograph that's done underwater, and the upper half is actually reflections of the underside of the water. The interesting part is that the photographs are self-portraits. So it wasn't intended. I was a reluctant model. I didn't want to be the model, but it was during COVID. My husband and I had relocated to a community we didn't know anybody, and then of course, all of our lives were put on pause. So I had been wanting to do this project for many years, and we finally had a pool of our own. So I started off with nothing more than myself in a bathing suit and a GoPro dangled at one end of the pool while I thrashed around and choked on water at the other end of the pool. But when I looked at the footage, I realized, okay, I've got something I can work with. So then my next step was to figure out, okay, how can I rig up my pro camera so that it's in the water without owning an underwater housing. And it was my husband that suggested that I buy a fish tank. So off I went, and I bought this $40 fish tank and these sandbags, or actually bags filled with stones, because you don't want to put sand in water, that would make it quite murky. So I positioned it and weighed it at one end of the pool, which has like a Baja shelf, so it's only ankle deep. And then used the camera settings to do delay trigger, and there's something called interval shooting, which allows you to take a frame every 5 seconds or every 10 seconds, whatever you choose time-wise. So then, I got back in with my bathing suit, but I had the skirt. I thought, okay, I'll put the skirt on, and I did another test. It's like, okay, this is good. Now I need a model. Can't find a model. All right, how can I do this using myself, but having it more of an anonymous appearance? So my focus was often right at the surface of the water, and then I decided that I needed to maybe be a little more modest. So I started pulling clothing out from my wardrobe and doing more tests and more tests and more shoots, and it just kept evolving. I have one image where I'm wearing dancing shoes, so that one was fun. But this one was, and still is, my favorite. I love the movement, the flow, and the anonymity. Very, very beautiful. So that's a quick summary. Yeah. Did anyone have questions?
How long have you been playing photography?
I have been a photographer for about 35 years. I started out doing portrait work, weddings, special events, moved on to doing everything from industrial to documentary, magazine work, and then one of my last jobs was editorial for a scientific research facility here in Menlo Park. That was an amazing job. And throughout all those years, I always took on personal projects where I would challenge myself creatively. So I have various bodies of work. This one is my most recent, and definitely where my passion lies.
How many exposures is this?
It's a single exposure.
Single?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. So now when I would do a shoot, I would spend an afternoon setting things up and getting the outfits and jumping into the water and experimenting with poses and postures and swimming. So there would be, shots, and then I would choose the ones that were just great balance of movement. Yeah, there was a lot of technical aspects of it. I had to figure out that the camera didn't do very well with autofocus because of all the particles in the water, so I would have to manually focus and have markers on the outside of the pool so I knew where to position myself. So it was a lot of fun. It kept me busy for a full summer.
And that top part that's the reflection.
Yes.
Oh, so literally that's the top of the pool.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I would shoot at different times of the day too, so I discovered when was best, whether it was the early morning or late day. If it was in the middle of the day, it would just be too much specular light on the surface of the pool. So, and then also, you know, from the day that the pool's cleaned versus a weekend, and how much particles would be in the water just from the atmosphere around.
Turbidity messed with that, yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you choose the outfit?
So I started off with my own wardrobe, just going into my closet and okay, this dress will work, it's white. And then I started shopping online. And I came across this gown, this crazy, I don't know, ball gown it was. And I was like, well, that's perfect. With all the layers. It was actually too big, but I made it work. And yeah, and there it is.
Is the purple color seen in some of the other photographs in this collection?
Not so much, because a little bit of post-production editing where I'm trying to balance the quality of the water with the outfit itself. So I think this is one of the only ones with the purple hues.
What time of day was that?
That would have been afternoon, late afternoon.
Cool.
Spectacular.
And then to finish it off, I have a little poem that I sort of created based on the body of work. And see if I remember, it's very brief. The space between is where I keep my secrets, hidden between the ripples, locked within the white noise. And I'm not a poet, but I just...
Did you write that